Hi, my name is Amelia Burton and I'm here today with Dr. Dain Heer, internationally renowned author and teacher. He's just brought out a book, Being You, Changing the World. Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Dain is such an inspirational man. He has overcome huge mental and physical abuse throughout his life. He grew up in the ghettos of America, where he was one of the only white people for miles. Now, Dain, you've been a chiropractor, a life coach, and you now travel the world teaching people about the Being You revolution. I have to say I'm a little bit worried about this because I am in the improve you industry and my job is all about motivating people to improve themselves. So are you about to tell me I'm out of a job? I'd love you to explain this for me.
No, actually for me, I think your job is about to get a lot easier if I have anything to do with it, because there are ways of looking at things, ways of being in the world that make it easier not only to be us, but also to change the things we want to change. You know, a lot of us want to change our bodies, for example, but most of us do it from this really weird place of disliking or hating our bodies. What if you could do it from the joy of it? What if you could wake up in the morning and go train because it was so much fun? Or what if after you've made that change, that thing that you've been striving for so long, you could pat yourself on the back and go, okay, that was awesome. This is so cool, and be grateful for you, rather than go, oh, well, now what else can I judge into existence? And one of the interesting things is a lot of people are taught to set goals.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but I have done it, and sometimes I've succeeded, and many more times I haven't succeeded.
Yeah.
And the original meaning of the word goal was jail. And so I'm going to have a totally different suggestion for people. Rather than setting goals, if instead you'll set an aim or a target, it'll make it easier on you, because the way this works is if you set a goal and you achieve it and you don't acknowledge it, you then have to undo the goal so you can start over to try to get to it again.
Right.
So if right now, all of you out there listening, you know, if everybody listening, watching would go, okay, all the goals I've ever set that I achieved and didn't acknowledge, I'm going to acknowledge it now somehow and just let that happen. And then now, what aims and what targets would I like to shoot for? Because if you set a target and you miss it, you can always shoot again. If you set a goal and don't reach it, you have to go into judgment of you, which makes sure you'll never get there.
That's really interesting, because personally I like to set myself goals, but I know that when I don't achieve them, I feel really bad. It's almost like a little piece of my soul dies, and I sometimes even lose confidence.
Yeah, and that's where I see a lot of people functioning, especially in relationship to their bodies at this point, because they're like, you know, New Year's resolutions as an example. You're taught, you know, when you want to become an adult, when you're in those teenagers, you're like, I'm going to do New Year's resolutions because that means I'm an adult. Except just like every adult, you say you're going to do 500 things and you only do one of them. And like you said, it feels like a piece of your soul or your being dies. If you can start it with the point of view of a target or an aim, like, hey, I'm going to head in this direction and I'm going to have the joy of getting there. I'm going to have the joy of pushing myself past what my limitations were so I can get more of me in the process. But if I don't reach the thing, I'm not going to judge me. And that's really the difference.
It's interesting that you said that they need to be pushing themselves past their limitations, because in your philosophy of being you, you know, isn't it about not improving yourself?
Right.
When you say being you, to me that's like, oh, okay, I'm, you know, 30 or 40 kilos overweight. I can just, you know, be me.
I know it seems like an oxymoron, or what is it? Something where it doesn't make sense. That. It seems like it's, I'm not very good with English today, I apologize. But it does, it seems like, wait, how do these two things work, you know? And what it is imagine being 30 or 40 kilos overweight. What most people who are overweight to that degree are in huge amounts of judgment of themselves and their bodies. But if they could go, okay, wait a minute, I've done something to get to this point to create it. What if I didn't have to judge me anymore for being here? What if I could just be here and realize, okay, I'm here, and then ask your body, what's it going to take to change this? We've got something that we can do, something that we can be. What's it going to take to change this? Because your body knows. And a lady got one of these tools, just ask your body what it's going to take to change this. She was probably about 40 kilos overweight. And she tried every diet under the sun, and she would do the typical yo-yo dieting thing. And she got the information, asked her body, and she said, okay, body, what's it going to take to change this? And she didn't hear any answer, because your body doesn't speak in words. It'll just give you little clues, kind of like, and so what happened for her was, she was walking down the street 2 weeks later in the streets of New York, And she heard these people talking about a diet plan. Her body just about jumped over the park bench to get to where they were. And she said, I'm sorry, what are you talking about? They told her what the diet was. She went on that diet. She lost 20 pounds in a month and the weight kept going off and off and off.
Right.
That's what her body wanted. What most of us are trying to do, unfortunately, is we're trying to take somebody else's point of view about what's right for our body rather than asking our body what the right point of view is. And when we ask our body and listen, the changes occur like that.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you do if when you wake up in the morning, your body wants to be healthy and it's telling you to be healthy, but then by the afternoon, the evening, it's telling you that I want wine and I want chocolate and I want more and more of it? What happens then?
Well, two things about that. Number one of the things that I found which was most interesting to me and most bizarre to me and has created more changes for me personally is that somewhere between 50 and 90% of what goes on in our body doesn't actually belong to us. Does that sound weird or what?
Yeah.
Well, as a chiropractor, literally, I got this information because this access consciousness work that I started, doing 12 years ago. When I came in, they said, look, 98% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't belong to you. And I went, come on, really? Really? And they went, really? Just try it. Don't believe me, just try it. And I went, okay, how does this work? They said, well, for every thought, feeling, and emotion you have for the next 3 days, ask these words, who does this belong to? And I went, okay, what happens? They said, well, if it's not yours, it'll lighten up. So if you're in the middle of anger and you ask, who does this belong to, and it lightens up, it's not yours. You're just perceiving it. If you're in the middle of sadness and you ask, who does this belong to, and it lightens up, it's not yours. If you're in the middle of, oh my God, I don't want to go work out this morning, ask, who does this belong to, because it might not be yours. And like with the anger or sadness as an example, you're driving down the freeway, you've been having a great day, and all of us, have you ever had that where you're having a great day and then all of a sudden it feels like something smacks you in the head, like, I'm so angry now. But because we perceive it, we always think it's ours. But it's actually not 98% of the time. So like it could be somebody driving next to you on the highway where they just broke up with their girlfriend or something, and you're picking up that energy psychically. And it's like if you've ever been in a relationship and you know when you need to call your partner without them calling, you always know, right? That's because you're that psychic. And you're that psychic with everyone and everything. And it's one of the things nobody has ever told us. So this thing about with our bodies, there was a lady who got this tool, who does this belong to? And she asked it for every time she was hungry at work. And within a month, she had lost 25 pounds.
Wow.
Because she was continually eating donuts for the people at work.
Around her.
So when you say, when your body in the morning is like, yes, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be, and then by the evening, well, how many people's points of view have you picked up from morning to evening without anybody ever telling you that this was the case? So if you want to clear it, ask, who does this belong to? For every thought, feeling, and emotion you have, and every point of view, every judgment you have, for 3 days, and you'll walk around like you're in a walking, talking meditation, even if you live in the middle of a city.
So in your book, Being You, Changing the World, have you got any other practical tips that we can be using?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a ton of them. And that's really what the book was about. And so one other tool that can be really helpful with your body and also in your life is when you start to go into judgment of your body, there's two things you want to do. Well, actually, if you start to go into judgment of your body or anything, okay, I'm going to change that. There's 3 things you want to do. But I already gave you the first one. First one is, who does this belong to? Because it might not even be yours. You might just be picking it up like the lady picking up the desire for donuts in the office. And we're that aware, so ask, who does this belong to? And if it lightens up, return it to sender. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if it doesn't go away, just demand that you stop. Either see a hand or a stop sign in front of you and go, you know what, no more. I'm not going down that road. And then ask yourself, what can I be grateful for about my body? And then one other thing that's a tool you can use anywhere in your life with any upset. In fact, if you think of something that was an upset in the last week or two, an energy that's still sort of, that kind of thing, because we all have those, even though a lot of us like to act like we don't. I mean, we're all walking around with things like that. And if you could acknowledge it and be present with that energy just for a moment and go, and then say, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And then again, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And one more time, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. It takes between about 3 and 15 times for most people, and that upset in that twisted, weird energy is dissipated dynamically.
Yeah, they are all fantastic tools, but particularly point 2 about gratitude. I know that no matter what a bad day you're having, if you can just flip it and learn about gratitude and be grateful for what you've got, it puts you in a much better mood. I actually use it when I go running and I'm at a hard point in my run. I almost draw inspiration from those around me that I'm grateful for.
I love that.
Your book is just so enlightening, particularly about learning to accept yourself, learning that although we do want to improve ourselves in one way, that you need to come from a place of love and that you need to love and support yourself. So I really, really enjoyed reading it. You can buy Dain's book, Being You, Changing the World, from Amazon, or you can learn more practical tips on his website.